Coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios, this is Prime News on SABC 3 and in your top stories at this hour.
If it's not you and it's not Brigadier Mokoena, where would anyone have known about this operation to summon DPCI Johannesburg?
The Madlanga Commission struggled to uncover why the Hawks went ahead with Operation Takedown of alleged cartel member Katiso KT Molefe at his Sandhurst, Johannesburg home. 4 of the minority governing parties in the city of Johannesburg have tabled a motion of no confidence against Executive Mayor Dada Morero.
The end goal is to strengthen the ANC in the Western Cape, and that's what we're doing.
And the ANC Secretary General Fiki Lembalula has announced the disbandment of the party's Western Cape Provincial Executive Committee. It's a Wednesday night and you are tuned into Prime News on SABC 3. My name is Becky Mutumamulete and we are pulling back the curtain on today's biggest stories. Let's get right into the leads, and here they are. The Madlanga Commission struggled to uncover why the Hawks went ahead with Operation Takedown of alleged cartel member Katiso KT Molefe at his Sandhurst, Johannesburg home after learning that it was a legitimate counter-intelligence operation. This as the Commission examined the claim that the Hawks tried to interfere in the operation allegedly for the benefit of criminal syndicates under the direction of the National Hawks head.
The Madlanga Commission, probing allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system, has delved deep into the allegation that the Hawks interfered in the December 2024 arrest of alleged cartel member Katiso KT Molefe from the vantage point of the officers on the ground. Former PKTT member Captain Wanda said he found the presence of the Hawks concerning.
They came in numbers, Commissioner, and I didn't expect them in that big number. And when I interacted with them, they were a bit aggressive and demanding answers, imposing questions to me.
Brigadier Lesiba Mokoena, who dispatched Captain Kruger to Molefe's residence, told the Madlanga Commission that it was for the purposes of verification, as a phone call alleged that police officers were posing as Hawks officials. His version landed under the lens of scrutiny when he stubbornly insisted that he communicated directly with Kruger and not through a WhatsApp group. The evidence through the form of WhatsApp chats, however, revealed that there was a group which Mokoena participated in, and the same group had a communication that the operation was legitimate before Kruger arrived at the scene.
That was my concern, that if you look at the timeline, at 1640 to 1650, so on page 9 from 1644 to 1652. By then there's communication within the group that this is a lawful SABC operation.
The Commission heard that not only did the Hawks not back off, they proceeded to the residence, had additional members, and were at the scene for approximately an hour, going beyond the scope of the verification request. Mokoena distanced himself from this action, and Kruger, who was on the ground, could not provide answers about who deployed the additional Hawks members.
If it's not you and it's not Brigadier Mokoena, where would anyone have known about this operation to summon DPCI Johannesburg?
I'm not sure. I cannot answer because I'm not sure, yes. Commissioner.
The hearings continue. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Pretoria.
Meanwhile, the ad hoc committee investigating the same allegations will resume its work next week. Deputy Police Minister Polly Bushielo is expected to testify on Tuesday, while Police Minister Professor Feroz Kachalia will take to the stand on Wednesday. Other key witnesses, like on special leave Police Minister Senzo Mchunu's Chief of Staff, Cedric Nkabinde, as well as controversial Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi, will testify next month. 4 of the minority governing parties in the city of Johannesburg have tabled a motion of no confidence against Executive Mayor Dada Morero. Their concern is that the decisions of the Political Management Council are not being respected.
Political instability has once again rocked the government of local unity in the city of Johannesburg. 4 minority parties have sent a motion of no confidence against Mayor Dada Morero, decrying the state of Johannesburg. ANC Regional Coordinator Sasabona Manganye has labelled these parties as opportunists who are desperate in pushing this motion.
The executive mayor, there have never been any single matter that was raised about the executive mayor interfering with the administration. So I don't know. That's why I'm saying the regrettable thing is the fact that we heard this matter through the media. They didn't engage us, but the Political Management Council did meet on Tuesday, yesterday, and we raised even those issues with those parties, that is not how the coalition operates.
The minority governing party's complaints about the executive mayor Dada Morero are centered around what they term political overreach into the work of the administration. In a statement, the 4 minority parties say service delivery has deteriorated in the city.
The MGP respects the ANC's participation in the GLU, but firmly believes that the leadership of Councillor Dada Morero has compromised the stability and credibility of the coalition.
Samkele Masego, SABC News, Johannesburg.
In matters closer to home, SABC's top leadership told the Standing Committee on Appropriations that intervention is required to keep the public broadcaster on air. Appearing before the committee to discuss its funding model, the SABC told MPs that despite doing well from an audit perspective, the withdrawal of the SABC bill, no access to capital and having to compete with media entities that are solely commercial could jeopardize the future of the public broadcaster.
The financial woes of the South African Broadcasting Corporation are no secret, and neither is the impact of the outdated funding model. SABC CEO Nomsa Jabeni compared the entity to other public broadcasters around the world.
All those countries are funded. The SABC is the most commercial public broadcaster in the world, and it's very unusual for a development state whereby the BBC is funded. The BBC, 80% of their costs are funded by the state. And the SABC is the inverse.
Board chairperson Dr. Katuchelo Ramukumba says the fundamental challenge lies in the 14% of TV license revenue the SABC is able to collect.
If you look at the legislative framework, the shareholder has accepted that the public service mandate, which costs the SABC about 2.1 billion a year, must be funded through this regime. However, this regime has spectacularly failed, as only just about 14% of South Africans are compliant, wherein the SABC is supposed to be collecting on the range of 4.5 billion rands. We are only able to collect around 700 million a year.
Jabeni has added that if things continue as is, based on commercial projections and reliance on existing models, it could be the end for the SABC.
We now sit with a significant risk of having black on air because, and I'll talk to this later in terms of the challenges with SABC meeting, for example, its debt with Centec.
Abra Barbia, SABC News, Parliament.
Welcome back to Prime News on 3. ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula has announced a disbandment of the party's Western Cape Provincial Executive Committee. The committee is to be replaced by a provincial task team led by former chairperson Ibrahim Rasool. The announcement was made following engagements with the PAC.
Rasool, a former ambassador in the United States, was recently deported from that country after he allegedly made damning remarks about US President Donald Trump's administration. However, it's not the first time he has been in charge of the ANC's political affairs in the province.
The end goal is to strengthen the ANC in the Western Cape, and that's what we are doing. So we have not taken a drastic decision to dissolve anyone. We have reconfigured the leadership and strengthened the leadership, brought into its ranks other comrades and the leaders who will add value to this leadership.
Balula says they want to strengthen the party's branches ahead of the local government elections next year.
The emphasis to our cadreship and our leadership here that we have assembled is that let the talk be the order of the day, and the leadership visibility and directing programs.
Mbalula says the reconfiguration of the PEC is not a punitive measure against the committee, but is to strengthen the party instead. He says Rasool is yet to confirm if he will be undertaking the task. Outgoing PEC chairperson JJ Chalisisu is expected to be retained as deputy convener. Mlamli Maneli, SABC News, Cape Town.
38-year-old murderer accused Tebogo Mnisi abandoned bail during his appearance on charges related to the premeditated murder of cousins 22-year-old Siamo Muramaga and 21-year-old Baleseng Muramaga. The lifeless bodies of the two young women were discovered by the Mamelodi community on Sunday morning after they were shot execution style. The accused was allegedly found in possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition when he was apprehended, and it was later established that a third victim, Desmond Seneng, survived the shooting. The state has asked for more time for investigations into the matter. We now move on to the following. After years of delays of crime-fighting structures in northern KwaZulu-Natal are again pleading with the government to complete the installation of jersey barriers along the border with Mozambique. The project is a critical security intervention against cross-border vehicle smuggling, which has plagued the region for decades.
This is the border between South Africa and Mozambique. For decades, this wire fence is all that separated the two countries. This has enabled cross-border crime syndicates to operate easily, smuggling vehicles, counterfeit goods, drugs, and even weapons across the border. In 2018, the provincial government set aside an estimated 85 million rand for the installation of jersey barriers along the 25-kilometer borderline. However, in 2022, the project was abruptly halted after 48 million rand had been paid to a service provider for less than half of the work that should have been done. In 2023, it was reported that the SIU had concluded its investigation the previous year and that a report with recommendations would be sent to the president. Ayanda Mhlongo, SABC News, eMangosi.
Thank you for staying with us. President Cyril Ramaphosa was welcomed by his Swiss counterpart, President Karen Keller-Sutter, during an official state visit to Switzerland, where both leaders addressed the importance of cooperation and dialogue. In his remarks, Ramaphosa emphasized the need to deepen economic ties between the two nations.
Just as we share a desire to work together to build a better world, so too do we seek a partnership between Switzerland and South Africa to realize the potential of our people. Switzerland is one of South Africa's main trading partners and a leading source of foreign direct investment. Swiss investors are creating many opportunities in South Africa, transferring knowledge, but also driving transformation, from finance to renewable energy, from pharmaceuticals to advanced manufacturing. South Africa's renewable resources, combined with Swiss expertise in clean technology and sustainable finance, can lead the way to a future that is green, just and inclusive.
SABC, host broadcaster of the G20 South Africa 2025.
With just under a month to go ahead of the G20 Heads of State Summit in South Africa, the Air Traffic and Navigation Services has given its assurance on air traffic readiness. ATNS Acting Chief Executive Officer Madume Moholola provided an update on the entity's progress in stabilizing operations and rebuilding core capacity. The entity came under fire after failing to update its instrument flight procedures, leading to disruptions at airports, including Kruger Mpumalanga International Airport.
The Air Traffic and Navigation Services Acting CEO Matome Moholola has apologized to passengers and airlines for the disruptions to air travel as the entity navigates operational challenges. Moholola gave an update on work underway at the entity, reporting progress in efforts to ensure a secure air travel safety at some airports, with almost a third of the air flight procedures now active.
Out of a total of 388 procedures that are in the country, broken down as follows: 181 en routes, what we refer to as the RNAVs, the 176 instrument flight procedures, and the conventional en routes being 31. The total thereof it's 388. We have in publication and approved 240 of those procedures out of the 388.
Airports including the OR Tambo International, Lanseria International and the Waterkloof Air Force Base have been identified as G20 airports, with Moholola saying they are ready for the Heads of States Summit.
The G20 coming through, we must also assure the public that there are no challenges envisaged insofar as the G20 is concerned.
The entity has attributed its challenges to, amongst others, the loss of critical staff to international competitors, but says it has come up with strategies to address this.
I'm Katla Kologodi for SABC News in Johannesburg.
And now let's take a look at the latest market update as at 7:30 this evening. And that's how we wrap up this Wednesday edition of Prime News on SABC3. We will see you again tomorrow evening. Until then, have a great night and keep ahead of the curve. We now sign off with a view into your weather forecast, which is coming up next. Take care.
Thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the weather desk. Now let's take a quick look at what to expect in our weather details for this evening going into tomorrow. A band of scattered showers and thunder showers can be expected stretching from the northeastern parts of the Northern Cape into the northwest, all the way through the central interior into northern Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng and parts of Mpumalanga, otherwise isolated in the northern regions of Mpumalanga, central Limpopo, as well as the central parts of the Eastern Cape, stretching into central Northern Cape, and otherwise now for the southwestern parts of the country, clear skies going into this evening. Tomorrow, those southwestern parts of the country can expect clear and sunny skies for tomorrow, the whole day. Now moving into the central parts of the country, scattered as you move into the Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, Gauteng, parts of Limpopo, as well as the northwest, and isolated showers and thunder showers still expected across the Eastern Cape and the Northern Cape province. We do have some weather warnings this evening. Severe thunderstorms expected over the central parts of the country into KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, Gauteng, all the way into the northwest and that northeastern part of the Northern Cape. Expecting those severe thunderstorms to continue into Gauteng, parts of Limpopo, Mpumalanga, as well as northern Free State and the central and eastern parts of the northwest province. Disruptive rainfall can also be expected along the KwaZulu-Natal coastline and adjacent interior ahead of tomorrow. Overnight temperatures are expected to remain fairly cool for most parts of the country. 12 in Bethlehem overnight, 15 here in Johannesburg, 17 in Pretoria, 20 in Messina, along the eastern coastline, 20 as a minimum overnight, 16 in East London, Graaff-Reinet 9. Sutherland will be cold with an overnight minimum of 6 degrees. Maximum temperatures to reach highs of 30 degrees in Dar, 27 in Bloemfontein, Bethlehem 21, Johannesburg 24. Moving into Pretoria, slightly warmer there with the maximum of 26, 32 in Mosila, Parabora 28. Slightly cooler in Ermelo with the maximum of 18, 22 in Durban, Oudtshoorn 34, 33 in Cape Town. Sutherland will be warm with a maximum of 29. That's all from the weather desk.